Today we're talking about Steven Crowder, guys.
Time to listen up, you silly liberal fruitcakes.
A fellow on the internet that I know mainly from these memes, the change my mind memes that you've probably seen, and also some old comedy that he used to do as well.
I noticed a disturbing trend, dream catchers hanging from rear view mirrors in cars. You guys seen this? It's a Native American Indian contraption, consists of wooden hoops and feathers, supposed to help you sleep soundly. This guy stinks!
If you don't know who Steven Crowder is, then I implore you to keep it that way. YouTube has seen the rise and fall of so many influencers of varying levels of respectability, success, and credibility. Myself. So last time, guys, I was awarded the key to the city. PewDiePie.
What a fucking...
Mr. Beat.
I built a massive isolation chamber.
And we're gonna see if these two strangers can survive in this chamber for the next 100 days.
The platform has allowed a plethora of different individuals with different backgrounds to grow audiences that they otherwise couldn't from any other platform. All right, YouTube is awesome. There are billions of users on this website. I don't know. I think it's billions. I shouldn't say stuff that's not true. The content that's uploaded to this website ranges from Roblox to political commentary to whatever the fuck this is.
So I just got back from Japan. I wanted to show you some of the cool stuff that I saw there. Like this chicken nugget vending machine.
Today, though, we're talking about The Ladder. We're talking about a political commentary show known as Louder with Crowder.
We have a nice two-story in the Detroit area. Cozy. Rustic.
And the only reason that I'm talking about this is not because I'm slowly pivoting my way into politics and getting the fence post out of my asshole. It's because there is some drama afoot. By the way, this is a crazy story. This whole thing is fucking mind-boggling. I didn't want to make a video about this for a long time, and there's just so much to it that it is incredibly entertaining and wild that this is a real thing that you can just you could be a part of it immediately by watching a video on it. From this,
You give up so easily? I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Steven, your abuse is sick.
to this.
I'm currently being legally abused and intimidated into silence by a former employer. This has been going on for a while now, and it simply cannot live in darkness for another day.
Steven Crowder has been the topic of discussion quite a bit recently, and for a plethora of different reasons. I think I've used the word plethora twice now, so I'll stop that. The reasons could be as follows: the treatment of his wife, or the mistreatment of his wife.
Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
His recent lawsuits. He's a very litigious guy. He loves getting sued and suing people.
Conservative commentator Steven Crowder is being accused of sexual harassment, according to the New York Post. 10 former employees say Crowder ran an abusive company where he often screamed at his employees, including his own father, exposed himself, sent out directives to arbitrarily fire people, and made underlings wash his laundry.
And specifically beyond that, alleging that his employees are plotting against him. I really wanted to have all of my employees upload an exposed video on me for April 1st, but none of them had anything negative to say. So, like usual in these videos, we got to go back to the very, very beginning, as if it were all a dream, and we have to learn new things about someone who you may not want to learn new things about, but you will because you like watching my videos for some reason. Either that or they just show up and you can't help yourself. I don't know which one it is. Comment below. The peak of Stipen's popularity was approximately 5 to 7 years ago. What would that era be called? The owning libs era? I don't really know what that's like. 16 to 2018. Owning the left.
I'm saying that the Boy Scouts have a standard. You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout. In the name Boy Scouts.
I don't know what that era is called. This guy had quite a fucking peak though back then. I mean, look at these views, dude. 45 milli. Oh, 31 milli. Oh, 25 million. SJW Fat Pride Feminist panel crashed by Crowder.
Question for you is it possible that within fighting the idea of body shaming, there's actually a possibility of shaming natural male biology that prefers thinner, leaner, healthier women?
What about?
I think
What about that survey says it's natural male biology and not?
That's so fucking crazy. It's like a little window into a different era. As a result of this genuine great success, Steven touts himself as the #1 conservative daily comedy show. So there's not any others, I don't think. Are there any other comedy shows, conservative comedy shows? Certainly none with more cross-dressing.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
In fact, it is the same political commentary to such an extent that his first video from 15 years ago is a video about Hamas and Israel, which is still relevant today, but with a lot more cringe.
Hamas is like that kid in the schoolyard who always threatened everyone with karate. And then when he really got into a fight, he just got worked.
He also started off at Fox News. He was on Fox News a bit, but he got fired from Fox News, I think. That's just a little factoid that I know. From his beginning on YouTube, he really leaned into the conservative comedy skits, which is a very unique genre.
Hey, folks, come on down to Crazy Pete's Abortion Barn, where we offer abortions at lowest prices, guaranteed.
Oh, Crazy Pete. We love Crazy Pete.
Crazy Pete's Abortion Barn, killing babies and slashing prices.
Clomper's first taste of virality came from him exposing the Canadian healthcare system because he's Canadian.
We wanted to get true, authentic reactions and show you folks what it's really like to get treatment in a socialized healthcare system.
This video has the worst fucking audio quality ever. It's like a Project Veritas hidden camera footage thing, but just really bad. I actually don't even know if he's Canadian. I'm just guessing. Crowder would also interview people on the street, and a lot of this content is interesting, right? This is not really long time ago. It's just like funny YouTube's. This was when stuff was a lot funnier to me. Crowder, very charismatic guy, very loud guy, talks fast, has a pretty high-pitched voice, big giant head. Very negative canthal tilt. In fact, let's upload him to incel.tech. This is a good image. Oh, bro, if he drops me an L right here, I'm gonna be so upset. God damn it! Dude, there's no way. I used the most unflattering photo of him too. That is so fucking funny. Bro's naturally charismatic. He's handsome. He's got the canthal tilt. I don't know. I thought he had a big giant head, but I'm not sure. Big watermelon head, but I guess not. It's me. I'm the one with the watermelon head. Regardless of any of this nonsense, the thing that he was doing online was doing very well, and he started to grow a team around him. One of the big standouts of his team would be a fella by the name of Jared Monroe, or Not Gay Jared.
It's hard to fill your shoes, but this is kind of a thing like with fighters. You have to put the next guy over the top. You're passing the torch.
I'm passing the torch
to our very own. It's actually good because we always wanted to hire a black guy.
He helped produce the videos and also would participate in different skits or videos on the show. I remember him going undercover to Antifa or something like that. I think I've seen a video about Not Gay Jared, Antifa, undercover Antifa. This was in 2015. I don't think I saw that. I think I just maybe saw it. I don't remember. I know who Not Gay Jared is, though. Anyways, Jared also helped Steven test whether or not Alexa was SJW liberal spyware and not just a magic Chinese modem like they put in all your fucking appliances.
Okay, Alexa, who is the Lord Jesus Christ?
Jesus Christ is a fictional character.
He joined Steven for a live review of the Amy Schumer stand-up special.
Have you ever had a guy come in your mouth and go, does it taste okay?
Okay, what's the time, Edward?
1:09.
This is some of the content that I did see back in the day, is like just making fun of Amy Schumer. I didn't really do that. I wasn't really a part of that, but I always thought that was kind of funny. And I still see people doing it, and I'm like, is that all right? Can we do that? Are we allowed to just make fun of someone because they suck? I guess so, right? Like, we can do that. Can't we? Jared left the show in 2018 after working for Steven for 3 years. He was replaced by a fella named Garrett.
So you know him as Key Grip Garrett, but he's a quarter black.
He's quarter black.
So, yeah, Not Gay Jared, the seat, I guess, is he's going to be leaving the last time there. Not Gay Jared. And there we go. To come on in is Key Grip Garrett, who is a quarter black. You've helped us, of course, with some hidden cameras. And you are, right? You can confirm this?
Yes, I can confirm my father.
Because we didn't bleep Jim Norton earlier. So
my father.
Garrett and Jared were very important in getting Steven's channel to where it is now. It's not just Steven. It's not like all Steven, obviously. There's an entire team that goes behind all this stuff. you know, it's how all this works. All entertainment, all content creation, it all works. There's a team of people. Anyways, a vast majority of Steven's most popular videos are the Change My Mind series. It's a bunch of really good memes. Some of them are Halo related, okay? In this series, Steven would champion his take on a hotly debated topic in a public setting. He would argue with students. He would argue with, I think mostly it's just all college students, it seems like.
Would you like to do that in the United States?
I would love to be honest, personally.
Just ban guns?
Honestly, like what, I mean, I understand it's fun shooting a gun. I've been to a gun range before. There's a nice adrenaline feeling when you're shooting at a target, like, you know, and it's just satisfying when you hit the middle of the target. And it's just like any other sport, sure, per se, but I feel like we would gain so much more as a country.
He would invite passers-by who disagreed with him to champion his perspective and own them ethically.
So when we talk about gender and sex, right, this is a very new idea. You said in Western society.
It's not a new idea.
Really?
No, it's not a new idea.
So when did gender theory start? When did gender and sex become separate?
Well, they're actually, it's not necessarily the idea of gender theory. It's the idea that there have been different genders outside of man-woman for centuries.
A lot of folks would watch these videos for his well-researched, articulated responses to people he would be debating hotly with in public. He would watch them own them. That's what it was. He would be very prepared, and he would go out and he would argue with people who were just there, not really that prepared. A lot of conservatoids watched him, and a lot of leftoids watched him out of spite, in the hopes that someone would walk along and set him straight. And this is very similar logic to the Halo show and that Velma show. It's so similar to the Velma show that I think the only watchers of the Velma show were people who were hate watching it. There's actual articles about that. Things perform well, numbers-wise, in spite of nobody actually liking what's going on, which, you know, there was an entire audience of people who obviously really liked the Crowder stuff. And as a result of all of these videos, there's a bunch of them, and they're all entertaining as fuck to watch. I'm gonna be honest, they're really fun watches. Sometimes it gets insane. Mobs of Antifa form and flood in, and it gets you like, oh God, run, Crowder, run!
No one wanted to sit down and talk, so we decided to take a little field trip.
Or it can be lighthearted and funny and goofy. He'll dress as Uncle Sam and convince people that America's the greatest country on earth. That's basically what I do every time I meet someone from Canada.
Do you disagree with the fundamental premise that the United States is the best country in the world?
No.
You don't disagree with that?
I disagree with it, yes.
Okay, so what examples of countries would you say are superior to the United States? I guess to start, before we get to how much you dislike Trump, and I understand that.
Korea, they've got an...
South Korea?
South Korea, they've got an incredible standard of education.
Then it generally turns into blabbering and a lot of unproductive arguments and just rants. It's very frequent, but it's still entertaining. It's great content. Truly the fucking most entertaining shit on YouTube. If you can really separate yourself from the political stuff, which I do very well, it just becomes entertaining. Stuff doesn't really make me mad. So to me, it's just like good, you know, it's entertainment. Sure, why not? I'll watch this. I haven't watched any of this in a long fucking time, dude. All in all, the arguments, 99% of them, 95% maybe. I haven't seen that many clips of specifically people winning an argument against Crowder, but he wins most of these. Not to say he's necessarily right, because you don't have to be right to win an argument or win a debate or anything. I'm not going to provide any specific examples. And rarely, but it does happen, there were good conversations that came out of these, which is always great to see. I really like it when people with differing viewpoints can communicate and not necessarily agree to disagree, but respectfully talk to one another and hold respect for each other. Not necessarily that anyone here in these videos deserves respect, I will say, but I like that. It's easy to relate to for me. I like that. That's something that I do find entertaining. So, Crowder, we've established he's excellent at crushing it in arguments, whether it's with Antifa, libtards, or his nagging wife.
You just said I love you. I'm committed to that. Walk the dogs, put on some gloves. Walk the dogs, put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
Oh God, this gets fucking bad, dude. Recently, about last year, and since then, he's upset a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and he's really dug himself into the whole like just political grift thing. I really don't know, dude. It's fucking sad though. But the biggest thing, in my opinion, stems from leaked Ring camera footage of him verbally berating, an understatement, and emotionally abusing, an understatement, his wife a pregnant version of his wife, not a unpregnant version.
You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're gonna take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
To be clear, this ring video was recorded back in 2021 when his wife Hillary was pregnant with their twins, and they separated shortly after their birth, and the video came out in 2023. The exchange takes place on their pool patio, and it's him sitting there smoking his cigar, being a man, all right? And he's just berating his wife Hillary. I can't understand a single word of this as being rational or reasonable. How could you ever be this much of a fucking piece of shit? Everyone is such a piece of shit behind closed doors, it seems like. In the ring video that was leaked, he's very manipulative. He's disgusting. He is an absolute asshole, terrible person. If I ever saw my father talking to my mother like this, I would honestly, I'd whoop his ass. I'm just being honest with you. This is, someone speaking to you like this has negative respect for you. Genuinely negative respect. So politics aside, funny change my mind content aside, not gay Jared aside, this guy is a piece of shit, in my opinion. Based on this, hopefully he's changed. Hopefully he's gotten better as a human being. But like, God, if this is a window into your soul, wow, what a rotten fucking turd.
So you're not taking the car?
Steven,
You're not taking the car?
Steven,
You are not
then
taking
I will ask them to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not about Steven.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Steven, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Steven.
Like, I can't
Steven.
go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym.
He gaslights her and says she's not performing her wifely duties. Dude, what?
You are not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
And this seems like it stems from her not doing what he wants exactly when he wants her to do it. For example, going to the grocery store and getting steak and pellets for his grill.
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect me?
And he'll have to do it if she won't do it. Guy's got a god complex, it seems like. His wife is very defeated in the video. It's like she's talking to a fucking brick wall. He's accusing her of being uncommitted and unloving while he is the guy doing that, all that horrible stuff. Obviously, there's stuff we don't see behind the scenes, which is important to see, but by God, I've never talked like this to anyone in my entire life. You have to be on some crazy delusional God shit to think like this, to think that this is reasonable to speak to anyone, let alone the mother of your children. She tries reassuring that she is committed to him and loves him, etc., 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 and he's just being a whiny, childish baby and blames her for everything. Very strange, while smoking a cigar. Now that's class. Then she has the gall, like Caesar, or where he was, and she says, Steven, you're being abusive. And he says, watch it, fucking watch it.
Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. You need to just stop engaging for a little bit. Okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem.
And then apparently in the video later on after it ends, he says that he's going to fuck her up. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what it says. So, and it's in court and whatnot. Obviously they separated, they're going through a divorce. Steven finally acknowledged this fact that his wife and him were going through a divorce in 2023. He deflected all responsibility. He says he's had a boot on his neck going back all the way to 2021.
I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce.
He describes the divorce as being horrendous and that it was not his choice and that it was his wife's choice. Yeah, man, I don't fucking blame her. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a girl. I've never been pregnant. I've never been married to a man. But this doesn't seem like a healthy, happy relationship, bro. He does clarify and say that there was no infidelity and no physical abuse on either side. Phew, I was worried. Oh, because the way it was looking was pretty bad. No abuse in general. No, wait, just no physical abuse. I understand.
Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, there is no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side.
Then, as if he rules over a fiefdom, he says that his wife simply didn't want to be married to him anymore and phrases the next part of that sentence as if he was forced into the divorce.
This was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted.
In the state of Texas, that is completely permitted, meaning a wife can divorce her husband in the state of Texas, and that's a bad thing? The lamenting of the fact that Texas permits her to divorce him resulted in a lot of comments, because that's a fucking crazy ass thing to emphasize and say. Does he feel like it should not be permitted? Should a woman not be able to file for divorce if her husband is a jerk because he doesn't want to let her go? She shouldn't be allowed? How was growing up in all that toxicity better for the kids? So he is clearly and unabashedly expressing the belief that women shouldn't have autonomy over their personal marital decisions, while sitting there with his tough guy beard and a muscle shirt with a gun on his desk. Performative manhood to cover extreme insecurity and misogyny. That's one thing I've noticed is like super forward guys who are like really forward about stuff are almost always the opposite of what they're incredibly forward about. It's like when you have a big insecurity, you can't help but allow the pendulum to swing the other way in to try to fix that or whatever. And I think that applies to like all of us, myself included. I think most people, you can kind of get a read on who they are as a person by just kind of seeing what they do, you know? That seems stupid to say it like that. You can get an eye for their insecurities and their deep things that they're afraid of. Seems like Steven Crowder is not a big fan of women's rights, though, just in general. I'm not really sure. It seems like, though. I'm starting to kind of put that together from all these pieces. Now, the worst part of this whole addressing the divorce is when he talks about him and his ex-wife's relationship retrospectively.
I loved a woman so much that I married her. A woman who, despite all of this, I still love as the mother of my children.
He says he loved her enough to marry her, and he still loves her. Of course, she's the mother of his children. She wanted something else in her life, and the law let her have it.
And she wanted something else for her life. That's not my choice. She simply wanted out, and the law says that that's how it works.
The next choice of words is even better and is even more telling of his bitter attitude, I guess. That's a great word to use, incredibly bitter. He claims responsibility. It's no one's fault but his own. It's not for him acting in an abusive way towards his pregnant wife or leaving her after she gave birth to their twins, but simply for him claiming responsibility that he chose the wrong wife.
Now, of course, look, I get it. There are multiple sides to every story, but one thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own in that I picked wrong, and that's certainly not the fault of my children.
I really like that logic a lot. It smells like shit. Also, in Steven's video talking about the divorce, he emphasizes how private he wished all of this would be, but there were a few people with positions of power who knew what was going on behind the scenes, and that sort of led to things getting out. One person was Candace Owens. A clip of Candace Owens is played in his video of her asking for people to pray for Mr. Crowder because he's going through a lot.
I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him.
And also, they knew all this stuff because at the same time he was going through this shit, he was also going through a battle between himself and other conservative commentators over at the Daily Wire. You know what the Daily Wire is? Steven got into a feud with Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, both of whom are a part of the Daily Wire. The feud was a result of a contract negotiation that went awry.
We got word that Steven was finishing up his time at the Blaze and was interested in having a conversation with us. So we reached out to his agent and we said, listen, we'd love to have a conversation. It's not every day that a monster talent like Steven comes on the market.
And this article headline spawned from it. All right, Blowhard calls $50 million Daily Wire offer a sleeve contract. The conservative outlet's feud with streamer Steven Crowder now involves a secretly recorded phone call.
Yes, that offer did come from the Daily Wire. I'm not trying to hide that fact. I'm not ashamed of that fact. In fact, I think it's a very good offer. But I think there's a lot of sort of misconceptions about the nature of the offer, the nature of the points. I think Steven misunderstood a lot of the points. And so the way we do here at the Daily Wire, we're just gonna be incredibly transparent.
How the fuck are these people making $50 million a year? What the fuck? How is that even fucking possible?
Big tech is in bed with Big Con. The people you thought, the people I thought were fighting for you, a lot of it has been a big con.
It's crazy that there are people whose thoughts and minds and beliefs are just filled with these people who make this much money by just saying shit. How can you believe anything that people are getting if they're getting paid $50 million a year to say it? What the fuck? God damn it. Money doesn't equal bad, but by God, who's paying you and what do they believe? Because that has a lot of control on what you're allowed to say, I assume. Jesus fuck. And I'm, obviously a massive hypocrite because I can't say shit on YouTube or I'll get fucking banned. Well, I did get my P. Diddy video got taken down, guys. P. Diddy got shooters at Google.
Here was our offer. A 4-year initial term with 2-year renewal at DW's sole discretion. That just means Steven's going to work for DW for 4 years. And if it's going really well, DW can retain him for an additional 2 years. 2, the fee. Remember, this is the minimum number that we thought would get the conversation started with Steven. $50 million for the initial term, plus $25 million for the renewal term, if extended, paid in monthly installments.
Yeah, $50 million a year, though, slave contract. The feud began apparently in January of last year when Crowder uploaded a video called "It's Time to Stop." He said he believed the individuals in charge of the right-leaning media were at odds with what was best for the public.
But for the first time, I have to say that I believe many of those in charge in the right-leaning media are actually at odds with what's best for you, the viewer, the customer, and more importantly, the country.
And he said this because the exclusive $50 million contract would give the Daily Wire the rights, exclusive rights to manage and monetize Crowder's Facebook, YouTube, and any other social media channels.
Effectively, full ownership of all your social media platforms, channels, in perpetuity, the rights to your content, name, image, likeness.
But then the Daily Wire responded to this claim in their response video as if I give a singular fuck. I do. I'm making this video, so I do, obviously.
It says DW will have the exclusive right to manage, curate, and monetize his official Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Snapchat, Rumble, and other social media accounts, excluding his existing personal Twitter and Instagram accounts. So why would we exclude some but not exclude others? Well, we're saying that during the term, we have, of course, he puts his podcast on Apple Podcasts. We're the ones monetizing the Apple Podcast. So this is just making clear that, yes, we're selling ads in his podcast. The podcast goes out on Apple Podcasts. That revenue comes back to us. We put something up on Facebook. Same thing. We bring in ad revenue off of that Facebook piece of content. But we're going to own that during the term.
I don't think I'll ever see $50 million in my entire fucking life. What? But if I do ever see that, there will be signs. A few days later, he went further into the demonizing of the Daily Wire and likely violated some trust, and he got fucking exposed by Candace Owens as a result. He also leaked a call between himself and Jeremy Boring?
Let's say it's a kid who comes in with 500,000 YouTube subscribers or something like that, 100,000. Let's say it's some other kid you're paying 6 figures to come in and do it. There's not the penalty of the demonetization or if they're removed from iTunes, Apple, YouTube.
Yeah, sure there would be.
I'm not making that name up. That's actually somebody's name. That's the CEO of Daily Wire. Even his fucking comment section was not on his side. He says that Candace alluding to his divorce was to try to publicly embarrass him.
Now, some other issues have been, or I should say, inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats to use this information that they believe would be so publicly embarrassing to me and my wife at a difficult time that it could be used, knowingly putting my children in harm's way. So to those self-styled Christians, conservatives, and allies, well, not in my book.
In reality, it seems as though Steven has alienated everyone around him, except for the incredibly loyal fan base of people that he's garnered over the last few years, from some genuinely good content and some just absolute dog water, dude. And I know about that, all right? I'm an expert at that. I'm gonna ride this guy. There we go. I got him in a headlock. So there's a new lawsuit that alleges that Jared Monroe, not gay Jared, this guy was plotting to extort him during the divorce. Jared left Louder with Crowder and was replaced by Garrett, Quarter Black Garrett as well. That's his name. Garrett would talk about wanting to leave Louder with Crowder, saying he wanted to leave drama-free, unlike those before him had done.
I wanted to get out of Louder with Crowder in a very a nice way, you know. Like I love the guys there. I love the crew. I love the audience. The Mug Clubbers, they're great people. So I didn't want to leave in a way, because I've seen it happen before in the same show, where people would just disappear, or it would be some kind of drama. And I'm like, I hate drama. Drama's boring to me. I don't want any of that.
Jared wanted to leave so he could spend more time with his wife, girlfriend, and this was for the betterment of his future child, of which she was expecting. Makes sense. Perfectly reasonable.
There's a lovely missus in my life, and a lovely lady, and I will be joined by another lovely lady in just a few short months.
It's true.
So I'm very excited.
Because of how time-consuming his job was and how much time he dedicated to Crowder, he wanted to walk away, obviously, so he could fucking spend time with his family. Makes sense. Now, what actually happened was explained at length by Jared on his Twitter, which is not gay, I think.
I'm currently being legally abused and intimidated into silence by a former employer. This has been going on for a while now, and it simply cannot live in darkness for another day. But I am asking for your help to fight back.
He talks about receiving a cease and desist and being threatened with a lawsuit. Oh, shit! He states that the workplace was full of sexual misconduct, aggression, and he saw horrible things that had happened to him.
This place was and is to this day a workplace rife with sexual misconduct, degeneracy, and aggression.
He only signed an NDA at the request of Crowder, so he didn't have to sign a non-compete and could actually use his skill set to work elsewhere and make money elsewhere, because that's super common in this media world, is non-competes and NDAs.
The primary reason I signed the NDA was for a small carve-out in the non-compete clause, which allowed me to freely seek employment using some of my skill sets at another specific company. That provision, however, was a lie. And upon starting my new job at the new said company, I was giving another one of these, a cease and desist, and was promptly, unlawfully terminated from that position.
Free speech matters, and it is quite ironic because Crowder is a free speech absolutist, I think at least. So, but not really though, whenever it comes to his employees that he is allegedly wronged or whatever, I'm not fucking sure. Jared is going to do his best to fight back against the document, and he will use donations to dissolve the unconstitutional NDA. Also to just get his First Amendment rights back. That's so insane, man.
The second reason I'm asking for financial assistance is to proactively address my unconstitutional anti-free speech NDA, which is the basis for all of their claims against me. The simplest resolution here would be for my ex-employer to release me from the NDA. Give me and my fellow ex-employees the same free speech they publicly champion for every other American.
I don't foresee this going the way of Crowder. This has a lot of heat on Twitter. Okay, guys, 8 million. I implore and emphasize you all to check this out if you'd like. Candace Owens, as a response to this, said, wait till they find out what he's been doing to his wife. What does that even fucking mean, bro? It's crazy how much stuff is coming out. This is just mind-boggling. The 2016-2017 fun owning leftist shit was a much simpler world than the world we are in now. We mentioned Garrett earlier. Eventually, he did leave the LWC network as well, but it seemed like a bit of a different exit than Not Gay Jared. It seems like so far. Who knows what will come out?
I was like, hey, bro, I'm really tired of politics. I want to do this other thing. And at first, he really wanted me to stay. Like, he was like, really, like, I don't want you to leave. So he was trying to come up with all these different ways to like get me to stay. And I was like, I just don't want to do politics anymore. And I know that's not the show that you, like, you're obviously going to keep doing politics.
There are two sides to every coin. And we have Jared, what he's saying. And we also have the lawsuit I mentioned, which is against Jared and his wife and Crowder's wife, not Jared's wife. Maybe not yet. This is really a confusing part. So try to bear with me here. This is not from the horse's mouth, but it is from the rider of the horse, Gerald Morgan Jr., a lawyer that they have on the Louder with Crowder show that is friends with Crowder, I think still works with him, and was friends with Not Gay Jared when he worked there. Oh yeah, and is also the CEO of the LWC network, which, so he's pretty He's pretty high up there, you could say. One of the first things that Jared says in regard to this is that none of this needed to happen, and he means the call out from Jared that Loudermilkers Crowder, their work environment was toxic.
I just want to say off the top that none of this had to happen. None of it. Didn't have to be this way at all. We didn't choose this. It was chosen for us. In fact, as I'll tell you in just a few minutes, we went to great lengths to give people the ability to do the right thing.
This is funny because of the Loudermilkers Crowder calling out of the whole Daily Wire thing and throwing Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro under the bus. I mean, I don't mind them getting thrown under the bus, to be honest. I like it when creators just start fighting each other, but that's bad. That's faulty logic. We're starting off with faulty logic here.
For the last year and a half, everything you've seen in the public eye has been part of a well-orchestrated plan. What is that plan? To assimilate damaging PR assets and wage a negative publicity campaign against Stephen.
Gerald says that the 202 petition, which is a cease and desist kind of thing, sort of pre-litigation thing, it was filed as more of a, hey, knock it off and tell us how far this has gone, instead of a, I will kill you and remove you from Earth. Then Gerald says the follow-up cease and desist was another request for Jared to knock it off. And all he had to do, allegedly, was write back saying he would stop, but Jared didn't stop. And now he's posted a video on Twitter and he's gotten himself into some shit.
Legal fees associated with writing us a letter would have been minimal, if any at all. And I have the receipts as to why we sent this to him in the first place, after around 6 years of no communication in this way. December 14th, we had one amendment to our Rule 202 petition. Not quite the exhausting of the court as Jared made it seem, that we were trying to bully him with the law. March 15th, that 202 expired. March 26th, Jared releases his video.
So it's like he's trying to say that Jared was raising money for a lawsuit that didn't exist, but just trying to make him seem like he's manipulating people, I think. It seems like that's what he's trying to say, but now they're still suing him anyway, so it's like, what are you... he was trying to raise money because he felt like he was going to get sued, and he doesn't want to be gagged? Of course. What? That's some backwoods shit, man. What the fuck? By the way, the Rule 202 or the 202 petition is a deposition before a suit. This allows a person, in this case, or an entity, I guess, Loudermilkers Crowder, Stephen Crowder, however you want to spin it, it allows them to petition the court for authorization to perform a deposition, either oral or written, on to obtain a person's testimony. This person is not gay Jared, and this is for use in an anticipated suit. So it seems like they were anticipating a suit, because that is quite literally what a 202 position is, as far as I understand from this this Justice League website. The fucking Justice League? What the fuck? That shit's irrelevant. I'm no lawyer, but it seems like you guys intended to sue the guy, to be honest. He then goes on to say some conspiratorial shit. That Jared is actively involving himself in a private divorce and that he was recruited to do so.
And now he's involving himself in a private divorce for which he was recruited to leverage the company as part of this long-standing plan. And I'm going to say it over and over again to make sure you guys understand. We've been living with this for the last year and a half.
This is all in a plan to leverage the company by assimilating material which could be damaging to Steven's PR, the PR of Loudermilkers Crowder, or whatever. It's fucking wild, dude. He uses a lot of fancy words and shit, and he sounds like a papa, just sort of being mean to his son, shaming him like Crowder does with his wife.
The plan is to assimilate damaging PR assets and wage a negative publicity campaign against Stephen, per Hillary's father.
And this is all while saying there's a conspiracy behind the scenes to destroy Loudermilkers Crowder. What's more likely of the following? Hillary and Jared have teamed up with the goal of destroying Loudermilkers Crowder and everything that Stephen Crowder has built, or Hillary, who's trying to separate herself from an abusive partner, asked a former employee of Crowder, who also was allegedly abused, to help her, since they both experienced the same things, albeit in different facets of life, but the same things. Gerald's proof he provides of the former, the conspiracy, is this email from Hillary's father, supposedly seeking people out who would be able to destabilize Stephen. This is awesome. Very cool.
Here is Hillary's father in a group text thread to the family. And it's a message that was liked by Hillary. The type of team I want. They understand right-wing media. They are familiar with who Stephen is and that world and the things that would destabilize him. Remember that word, destabilize. Fully understand and agree that Hillary's goals and expectations for the outcome of this divorce are reasonable and attainable. Not necessarily according to Texas family law precedent, but by employing a media/Brian Friedman and PR strategy that will significantly threaten this public persona and brand. That's from
2022.
Yes. This has been the plan from the beginning, guys. This is what we have been dealing with behind the scenes and not commenting on.
This says that they have sources to all this in the description, but you click on the link and it's just this. It's just like more of their videos or whatever. I don't really know what's going on here. So many sources, just not the ones I'm looking for. Quap! More is shown an alleged text from Jared saying something along the lines of this. Actually, not along the lines. It is literally this. Any scenario where Hillary and I team up is the end of him. It's his worst nightmare. Watch real fear enter his eyes when Tim asked the question. And, you know, Hillary wanted more money than she could get in court from Stephen from the divorce.
This was done specifically in order to get more than Hillary would get in court. Or that Stephen even offered her, because his offers have been more generous than Hillary would ever get in court per Hillary.
It's pretty ironic, though, because in the same response of them claiming that they're victims of a hit piece, they try to call Hillary a liar. They show a tweet of her looking for remote work following the divorce, and then they show that she's making $25,000 a month from Stephen.
Hillary's getting $25,000 per month from Stephen. Per month. $300,000 a year, no taxes held out of it.
But in the email that's highlighted, you can literally see that he tried to reduce the amount but was unsuccessful, and that between divorce attorneys, litigation attorneys, and taking care of the children, she's barely able to pay for all that. Not that much information. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with going too much deeper into this. It's kind of fucking weird. You can see it's all just nonsensical, just crazy shit. It's wild to me that there's so much positive response to Crowder. He really does have a very unique, loyal fan base, which I have to respect that. People really like the grift sometimes. Some people don't. It's a weird thing. This is a crazy fucking story, though, because this guy's like a staple of political YouTube, and they just, none of these people can do anything. They can't run a business. They can't do what they're doing without just fucking stamping all over people and making a bunch of enemies. Why would you want to do any of this? What's wrong with you people? So, that being said, do I think all of Crowder's points were bad? No. Even a broken clock is right twice a day or whatever. Do I think he's a dickhead yelling at his pregnant wife? Well, it depends on what she did to deserve that. Just kidding. Of course. Do I think that Jared and all of his employees deserve to be harassed and shit? Nah, probably not, to be honest. I think everyone who deserves to pay the price will eventually pay the price, and I think that this will happen. We'll see, guys.